Aries Ram Fam, what is going on? I hope you are doing well. My name is Yvonne. You might know me as Luna with LT Reads. And today we are here for a very, very extra special reading. This will be my 200th video that I have released on my YouTube. So I'm super stoked to share that with my Ram Fam. And also, we're doing a little bit of a different reading today. We are looking at some channeled messages that I have received through my automatic writing, as well as a whole lot of tarot and a couple oracle cards, okay? Aries, I am one of you. We are one. Together we stand, united we fall. Is that the saying? I don't know why I said that. But I'm here with you, and I just want to thank you for your time, your energy, your trust, and support. And I want you to know I am also part of the collective, so I really appreciate sharing this journey with you. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do this. So I am looking forward to this ongoing journey. This is just the beginning, not just for me, but for all of us. And let's get into it. I saw 111 there as I said that, so that may have some significance. We've got lots of numbers here on the board. And lots to talk about. So enough chit chat. Well, not really. Let's keep talking. We've got the Lionsgate portal, and that occurred on August 8th. And during that time, I felt such a strong connection to Leo. You may have Leo in your placements, or you may be dealing with a Leo. But the Lionsgate portal with this infinity symbol here, also the number 8, was very significant. And I decided to write down what all of the different 8s in tarot resemble. And, you may be feeling like one or all of these are what you are simultaneously going through at this time. So we have working hard on an endeavor with dedication and commitment. We have walking away from a negative situation or emotionally detaching from something. The first one would be 8 of Pentacles. Second one is 8 of Cups. 8 of Wands would represent the fast action or communication, which you may be taking or which may be coming in towards you. And finally, we have the 8 of Swords, which represents overthinking, self-imposed restriction, imposter syndrome, and negative imposition. I think that whichever of these things that you're going through, if any, you're going through a transition period. And through that, it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel a little bit janky, I'm hearing. But I recently watched K-pop Demon Hunters with my son. If you haven't, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Incredible movie, incredible soundtrack, with mature themes too. It's not just corny children's anime. But in the movie, there was a point where they were speaking about hope. And one of the quotes that stood out to me in particular was, "No one gets to choose how much hope you have." And I felt like that was such a beautiful statement because it's so true. Sometimes in life people can feel like they can control or manipulate you in any which way. Or you may feel like you are being controlled or manipulated. Or like, even when it comes to your own feelings, they are being monitored or you're having to filter things. What I want you to know is, again, I want to reiterate, no one gets to choose how much hope you have. And if you allow people to mess with your energy or to provoke those types of feelings in you where you feel fearful or protective, it may be time to analyze your subconscious fears, perhaps childhood wounds that you have not faced, times in which you are being defensive versus having a true need for self-protection. There is a difference, right? Defensiveness can be unwarranted, whereas self-protection, you're always entitled to. And defining and deciphering sincerity and intention. Discovering the difference between what your perceptions are versus the reality of things. And sometimes emotions can come in to blur all of those factors, right? So what I have next, this is a deep one, Aries. We have freeze response. Fear and fallacy. So the animals, the stag and doe came up for you, may be relating to marriage, I'm hearing for some reason. But the stag and the doe, the deer, I don't feel like that is very relative of Aries energy, us being rams. Deer are very much so opposite in nature. And what I mean by that is no, I don't mean anything poorly. Like, no, I'm not poking or jabbing. But with the freeze response, if you think about a deer in nature, right, and they sense any type of danger, they will stop and freeze. And in that moment, they are listening, they're observing, they're analyzing their surroundings, intuitively sensing, is this a situation in which I need to run, or am I safe? Am I comfortable? So there's something to be said about taking time to not be impulsive, which I know Aries has a tendency to do. But also, with the stag, you think about their antlers, and their antlers do shed. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but they lose their antlers and they regrow into a stronger and bigger form. But during that process, it is painful, it is bloody, and it's not comfortable, right? So there's something here also as well about growth. It's not going to feel good. Resilience is not going to feel good in that moment. It's the achievement and accomplishment that you feel after the fact that is the reward, right? No pain, no gain. My dad always loved saying that. So corny, but it's true. Distinguishing differences between dark inner thoughts, fears, and insecurities versus depth of manifestation and reality. Yeah, we kind of touched on that. That's just a conclusive way of saying it. And all of this kind of ties into your sense of integrity. Make sure that you're always acting with a sense of integrity so that you can maintain your dignity. Okay, Aries? Patience. I know that my Aries dislike that message very strongly, but patience is required in order to take these freeze responses seriously, to refrain from acting impulsive or recklessly, to determine the reality of things versus maybe your own perception, to pull away our ego and pride from whatever the case may be. Okay? You are probably going through a period where it's going to take a lot of patience for you to finally deserve, or maybe you're coming into that point where you now realize what you deserve. And Aries, I want to remind you that you are worthy. Okay? There's no point in comparing, contrasting yourself to others around you, to other people, to anything, anyone. You yourself are worthy. And if you don't feel that, then, who's going to instill that in you? You have to provide for yourself. And being an Aries, you provide so well for others. Would it really kill you to give yourself a fraction of that? All right? Not to lecture you, but it's just a question, some food for thought. I also saw a millipede while I was out gardening. And, millipedes, I feel like, have such a poor, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's escaping me right now. But people look at millipedes very poorly. Like, they're gross and scary. But I was so intrigued and enticed by this millipede, just watching the way that it moved, the legs and the agility that it had, the ability it had to traverse through these different landscapes, through the garden, the rocks, the flowers, all the other things. And this drawing kind of came out looking like a tree branch in a way. So maybe trees or plants may be significant to you, Aries. Maybe right now it could be a good time to start keeping some houseplants, or maybe you've been doing that. Maybe it could be good to go out to a forest, spend some time talking to some trees, gaining some nature wisdom. All right. But the millipede, I felt like it was so symbolic of Aries, because you've gone through maybe so many feet that you've had to grow these multiple legs, metaphorically speaking. And through that, you've gained different skills, and you've, gained so much agility. And you've traversed so many different situations, so many difficult outcomes. Very corny and metaphorical. But anyways, let's continue. Also, why do we have creativity, passion, and authentic self? I'm not sure why I wrote that, but, these are channeled messages. Spirit is saying that it's time to take a fresh approach, to begin again, to look at life with a new set of eyes. to recognize when you feel inspired and then move yourself towards that destination and pay attention to the signs of inspiration. Okay? Don't let that feeling be fleeting for you. We have a lot of D's here. No pun intended. We have drowning things out, drenched in sweat, defeated by determination, disgusted by deterioration, delivering due justice, and diligence can't be fueled by desire. Kind of a pretty little poem there. But I was called to look at the symbolism for the letter D, considering so many D's came out there. And the letter D represents spiritually stability, strength, practicality, and discipline, which, stability is a huge theme throughout this reading. We also have simplification, taking things slowly, and acting surely. The color yellow may have some significance to you, Aries. Also, the song Dark Blue by Jack's Mannequin also came out. Particularly the lyric, "Have you ever felt alone in a crowded room?" JM may have some significance to you, those letters. But I feel like right now, Aries, it's important to lean on your support systems. Or perhaps you may feel like your support systems are lacking. This may be a painful time for you, but it's important to recognize that you have so much inner strength within yourself. And learning to rely upon yourself with the support of others, whether it's what you want or what you don't want, or it's not enough, regardless of the amount of support that you have outwardly and externally, internally, your strength is your main sense of support, of structure, right? The foundation of your heart, of your being. So lean on that. Know that you can overcome any kind of difficulty. Okay, we also have for numbers 24, 3, 6, 5, 12, 37, 9, and 5. 6 a.m. came out. I don't know why. Maybe you've been waking up at 6 a.m. or you maybe even seeing 6 a.m. somewhere. I'm not sure, but hold on one second, Aries. Let me put my phone down for the next portion of this reading. I'm so excited to look at the tarot with you because it's like one of the most beautiful tarot spreads I've ever seen. It's quite in depth. But anyways, sorry, pardon me. Let's look at these oracle cards. So we have the Ant Spirit, number 1, time to collaborate. Number 16, the Coyote Spirit, trust in divine detours. Yes, if you find yourself facing setbacks and delays, know that it's because of timing. Okay? And I know that may not be reassuring, but it may be time to let go, trust the process. We'll get to that in the tarot. We have number 27, the Fox Spirit, think on your feet. Similar to the Deer, right? It's important to hone into your surroundings, be observative, and be witty, be intelligent during this time, okay? We also have 59, the Starfish Spirit, open to infinite possibility. I think that's important. Don't have a lack mindset, Aries. Don't hold yourself back. And number 42, Otter Spirit, you are never alone. So going back to the support system, right? You are never alone, even if the support doesn't feel like enough. You have yourself, and maybe you have, other things that you believe in, your spirit team, your guardian angels, your guides, God, whatever it is that you may believe in, right? You are never alone. And there are also other people that are facing similar circumstances that you are. So maybe it's time to find a community in which you can trust, that have a like-minded view of life or are going through similar endeavors or things, okay? So Aries, let's finish this off with the tarot. I'm using my favorite deck, or one of my favorite decks, I should say, the Luna Le Pen Tarot. And we're going to start off with you here in your energy, the Knight of Wands. You are passionate about taking on this pursuit. You're acting with a sense of confidence, and you have a goal for the future, an idea at least, that you're trying to make movements towards. Now, when we clarify this Knight of Wands, we see the Four of Wands in reverse and the Nine of Wands. The Four of Wands, I'm going to read this in two separate ways, okay, Aries? So I think this is two different groups. Four of Wands can represent a marriage or a relationship that has broken. It can also, on the other hand, represent just your sense of stability and security crumbling or feeling unsafe, unreliable. With the Nine of Wands here, whether or not it's a relationship or just your own sense of security, the Nine of Wands suggests to me that you have been trying to persevere towards stabilizing this for a long time with very little or no success. And now you are more focused on your own sense of independence. You're focusing on your own career, the things that make you happy, the things that bring you joy and fruition. And security is huge, whether it's financial, emotional, or maybe even just physical. With strength here, kind of like I'm saying, strength, it's important to harness, my goodness, that sense of fortitude, courage, and bravery to do this. I think that you've been used to giving to this or trying for this for so long. And it's been hard for you to emotionally detach or walk away. But you've come into an energy now where you realize you have to leave this behind. You have to focus on yourself, and not being able to detach or walk away from whatever the situation is has left you feeling pessimistic. It's like you don't feel like there's a brighter future ahead of you. There's nothing left. There's no point. We move over here to the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is directly looking at this Knight of Wands. So you want to take action. You want to be passionate again. You want to be confident again. And you've been thinking about this for a long time, but you haven't really been able to take the action that the Knight can, right? A Page is a level down from a Knight. So the Page says, I'm thinking about this. I'm really wanting to do this, but I don't know how. With the Fool here, I love this middle, the heart of the reading. The Fool is you, Aries. The Fool is about taking a risk. Leaving baggage behind, moving on to a new start with very little there, you see? Taking a leap of faith towards something new, something abundant. However, the Emperor here in reverse, that's also your energy. The Emperor in reverse speaks about needing to have a sense of control, potentially being manipulative, potentially overlooking responsibilities or their highest good. And this is something that you've realized in staying in this dynamic or, trying to persevere towards whatever that is. It hasn't served you. So now you're taking a leap towards a new direction. And you are seeing things clearly where formerly you may have been blinded. You didn't know which way to go. You didn't know what decision to take. But, realizing that whether this Emperor is you, in fact, you, Aries, your sense of control, or somebody else who is controlling, you are coming to realize that this is a patterned cycle. This is something that needs to change. This is something that is not working out in your favor. All right? And then finally over here, I do feel like for many of my Aries, this is a dynamic, whether it's personal, platonic, professional. But with the Two of Cups here, there's no reciprocity. There's no balance. The Ten of Cups here, there's no long-term stability or happiness or contentment. And with the Three of Cups to the Three of Wands in reverse, you are tired of waiting for this to come to balance, to feel like this can be cooperative, to feel like this can be joyous once again. So it's time to open to infinite possibility. It's time for a new start. It's time to collaborate with those who you can actually feel a sense of happiness with. Trust in any divine detours that you may come to face. And the final message I want to leave you with, Aries, is in the beginning of this reading, we referred to the Lion's Gate portal. And we have a lion here. And I thought there was another lion somewhere. But maybe it's important to cultivate your sense of ferocity during this time as well when it comes to taking these new leaps, all right? And not putting yourself down. Thank you so much, Aries. I love you so very much, and I wish you the best. Mwah.